One of your bills for this session, I believe, just receiving a hearing right before we tape this today on Thursday, is Senate Bill 315. It relates to red light cameras.
That's correct. The red light camera bill was Senate Bill 315. That was one of our first bills that I introduced, and that would ban red light cameras statewide here in Missouri. Now, this is an issue that has been important to the folks in eastern St. Charles County. St. Charles County, a couple years ago, actually did pass a countywide ban on red light cameras. One of our municipalities, St. Peter's, was using the cameras, but there have been some suits brought by the city against the people that voted against the red light cameras, so we felt like there was a need for some additional protection at the state level to ban these types of devices. And really, this is a question about your constitutional rights. I feel like the use of these red light cameras create an environment that there's a presumption of guilt, and that those that are given tickets as a result of the use of these devices must go into a court of law and prove their innocence versus the other way around. So I have a real constitutional problem with the use of these devices, and I'm also deeply concerned about the idea that in many cases I feel like red light cameras are used as revenue generators instead of public safety instruments. I've done some research and found that there isn't a whole lot of evidence out there supporting the idea that the use of red light cameras improve public safety. So therefore I have objections to it both on constitutional grounds, and I have objections to it as a method of enforcing public safety. In addition to the idea that this is important to the district residents of the 23rd Senatorial District, we wanted to push this legislation forward.
Red light cameras have been under question for the same reasons for a long time. And again, there was a question initially of what are the cameras taking pictures of? Again, the guilt versus innocence request, and there have been some cities that have backed off those cameras over the years.
Well, there has, and I think you said it right. What are they taking a picture of? What are they doing with that information? And a red light camera cannot grasp and translate to a live officer the next day all the circumstances involved with someone allegedly running a red light. And I'll give you an example. Funeral processions. Funeral processions will go through an intersection when a light is red, and yet they're not breaking the law, but the red light camera doesn't know that. And so there actually are instances where folks in a funeral procession are getting red light traffic camera tickets the next day for something that was entirely lawful, and they're being put on the spot to actually prove their innocence versus the other way around. So I have a tremendous objection to that.
What has the justification been given that you've heard for continuing to use these cameras?
Well, the biggest thing that I've heard is that red light cameras somehow improve public safety. I haven't seen that. There have been multiple studies done, and I know we got to be careful when we start pointing to one study this, but North Carolina A&T did an analysis back in 2005 of over 17,000 intersections and the use of red light cameras, and found that it actually increased accidents by 40%. What they found was if you know that there's a red light camera in a certain intersection, you may be more prone to slamming on the brakes and trying to stop sooner than is otherwise safe, actually causing accidents instead of preventing them. So there's evidence out there to suggest there is no public safety benefit to it. And again, I think there's an attraction because this is a revenue generator for certain municipalities, but I don't think that that should come into the realm of how we dictate our public policy.
For you, for a lot of senators, one of the perks of the job, as it were, was getting to meet a lot of different groups.
Absolutely. And this week was a banner week. We had several school kids in to visit the office from the 23rd District. We had folks from Lincoln Elementary, from Barnwell Middle School. And I always I'm really starting to enjoy these visits because the kids come in. We had third graders, we had sixth graders, eighth graders, and I always try to talk to them about the proper role of government. And then I ask them what legislation that they would like to see sponsored, because we represent everyone in the district, kids, adults included. And I get some great ideas, to be honest with you. We had the third graders from Lincoln Elementary recommended that we eliminate Friday as a school day statewide. That probably got 96% support. We had a statewide homework ban. That also got near unanimous support. We had a group of eighth graders in yesterday, sixth graders and eighth graders, and one young man, his name was Christopher, stood up and demanded a restoration of nap time hours in middle school. There was a lot of positive energy there. In fact, even the parents were supportive of that. I think they wanted to see nap time restored to workplaces in our daily lives. So we've come up with a hashtag, Make Nap Time Great Again. Really, I love to see the involvement at a very young age for these citizens, and we get to introduce them on the floor, and really, they come in with a broad curiosity about what we do, and it's really a great interaction. And I would encourage, if there are other school kids, hopefully in the district, that they'll have an opportunity to come down and see what we do here in the Capitol.